The restaurant was tucked away in a quiet, upscale part of the city, elegant but understated, the kind of place where deals were made behind candlelight and velvet booths. Blessing stepped out of the car, her breath catching slightly as she saw Gabriel waiting just inside, dressed in a deep navy blazer over a crisp white shirt, open at the collar. No tie, relaxed, confident. He stood the moment he saw her, his blue eyes warming instantly. "You look incredible," he said, his gaze lingering, but never straying too far. Blessing smiled, her long, curly hair cascading over her shoulders in soft waves. "Thank you. You clean up pretty well yourself." They were escorted to a private corner booth by the window, the city skyline glittering behind them. The server poured wine, menus were glanced over and forgotten, and before long, conversation flowed like they'd known each other for years. At first, it was all business, talk of growth projections, market potential, and his upcoming expansion into new industries. But slowly, something shifted. The air between them softened. Gabriel leaned in a little closer, and the way he looked at her was different now. Less CEO, more man. And then he said, almost casually, "There's something I want you to know about me, about my life outside of all this." Blessing looked at him, intrigued. "Go on." "I have a son, Mark. He just turned 4. Her brows rose slightly. "You're a father?" He nodded, a small, proud smile curling his lips. "Yeah, he's my whole world. His mother and I, we were never really a couple. It was a complicated situation. She didn't want the baby. In fact, she wanted to terminate the pregnancy." He paused, eyes flickering with something, pain, perhaps, or regret. "I begged her not to," he continued quietly. "I told her I'd take full responsibility, support her, do whatever it took. In the end, she agreed, if I paid her a large sum. She handed Mark to me the day he was born and walked out of the hospital. Never called, never came back." Blessing's heart ached at the thought. "She never checked on him?" Gabriel shook his head. "Not once. It's just been me and Mark since day one." A long, tender silence passed between them. Then, with a deep breath, Blessing said, "I know betrayal too well." She went on to tell him everything, her marriage to John, the years she'd poured into their company, how she had trusted not just him, but her best friend. Her voice trembled only once, when she spoke about being thrown out of her home like she didn't matter. But she steadied herself. She didn't cry. Gabriel listened, not with pity, but with quiet admiration. "You're stronger than most people I know," he said gently. Blessing glanced at her phone. 12:07 a.m. She gasped. "It's past midnight? I didn't even realize." Gabriel smiled. "Time doesn't exist when the company's good." He paid the check without hesitation and walked her out, his hand resting briefly at the small of her back. The night air was cool, and the city lights shimmered around them. As they reached her doorstep, he turned to her. "Tonight was something else. Thank you for sharing it with me." She nodded, words caught in her throat. Then, almost hesitantly, he added, "I'd like you to come by the office tomorrow. We'll finalize the investment. I'm all in, Blessing. Millions. I believe in you. And in Ascend." Her breath caught again, this time not from nerves, but from the enormity of what he'd just said. "You're really doing this?" she asked, her voice soft with awe. "I am," he said, his voice steady. "You're not just brilliant. You're necessary. The world needs your vision. I'm just lucky I got to see it first." They stood in silence for a moment, something unspoken passing between them. He didn't try to kiss her. But when their eyes met again, the spark was undeniable. "Good night, Blessing," he said. "Good night, Gabriel." As she watched him drive away, her heart raced, not just with excitement over the deal, but something more, something tender, something unexpected. She stepped into her apartment, leaned against the door, and smiled for the first time in what felt like forever. Tomorrow, her business would change forever. But tonight, her life had already begun to. The following morning, sunlight bathed the small office of Ascend Strategies in warm gold. Blessing stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her soft beige blouse, nerves fluttering in her chest like birds in a cage. Today wasn't just another meeting. Today was the day everything changed. Mary walked in, grinning and holding a leather-bound folder. "You ready, boss?" Blessing turned and exhaled. "As I'll ever be. Let's go finalize our future." At Hartman Global, they were led into a sleek boardroom overlooking the city. Gabriel stood at the head of the table, dressed in a slate-gray suit, all charm and quiet power. He smiled when he saw them, his eyes resting on Blessing just a moment longer than appropriate. Then warmly turned to Mary. "Glad you both could make it." The paperwork was thick, but the process was smooth. Mary, sharp as ever, reviewed each document before Blessing signed, her name flowing in confident strokes, claiming the destiny she had fought to rebuild. When the last signature was done, Gabriel shook Blessing's hand, lingering just slightly longer than necessary. "Congratulations," he said softly. "This is just the beginning." Then he leaned in and whispered, "Can I speak with you for a second?" Blessing followed him out of the room, her heart already racing with curiosity. In the hallway, away from Mary and the other assistants, Gabriel looked at her with a smile that was both hopeful and vulnerable. "My parents are hosting a barbecue at their estate this Saturday. Just a casual family gathering. My siblings will be there too. I'd love for you to come, and bring Mary if she'd like. You're both welcome to stay the weekend. The house has plenty of space." Blessing blinked, surprised. "You want us to spend the weekend with your family?" He smiled sheepishly. "They've heard a lot about you. I'd like them to meet the woman who's changing the course of my company. And maybe my life." Blessing's heart swelled. "We'd love to come." By Saturday afternoon, a luxury black SUV turned onto a grand, tree-lined driveway. Tall, elegant palms and vibrant hydrangeas flanked the path. Blessing and Mary sat side by side in the back seat, breathless at the view ahead. "Oh my gosh," Mary whispered, eyes wide. "This looks like something out of a movie." Blessing laughed nervously. "I thought he said barbecue, not royal banquet." At the end of the drive, the Hartman mansion revealed itself, stunning, modern, and expansive, with white stone walls, towering windows, and ivy crawling up polished columns. A fountain sparkled in the sunlight at the center of the circular drive. As the car pulled to a stop, a uniformed maid opened the door. "Ms. Miller? Ms. Johnson? Welcome. Please follow me." Inside, the house was just as breathtaking. Marble floors, vaulted ceilings, original art hanging on the walls. They were guided through the foyer, down a long corridor, and out to the lush, private backyard garden. There, under golden string lights and a canopy of trees, stood Gabriel. He looked different, relaxed, in a cream linen shirt and dark jeans, smiling like someone truly at peace. "You made it," he said, walking over. His eyes sparkled as he looked at Blessing. "You look stunning." "And this is Mary," Blessing added with a grin. Gabriel turned to her. "The legendary secretary, welcome." Then he motioned behind him. "Let me introduce you to the rest of the tribe." An elegant older couple stood by a stone fire pit, Gabriel's parents. His mother had silver blonde hair in soft waves, and his father's handshake was firm and warm. "It's a pleasure to meet the woman our son hasn't stopped talking about," his mother said with a knowing smile. Then came Joel and Hannah, his younger siblings, both in their late 20s. Joel was effortlessly charming, with boyish good looks and a playful wit that immediately caught Mary's attention. Within minutes, the two were laughing like old friends over grilled corn and drinks. As the evening wore on, music played gently through the garden. The atmosphere was warm and light. Gabriel took Blessing's hand, gently leading her away from the chatter to a quiet path that curved through the rose garden. They walked in silence at first, the scent of jasmine and roses clinging to the warm evening air. "I don't get many nights like this," Gabriel said. "Peaceful. Real. Thank you for being here." "I'm glad I came," she whispered. They reached a bench beneath a large oak tree where fairy lights hung delicately from the branches, casting a soft golden glow. Gabriel sat beside her, his body angled toward hers. He looked at her for a long moment. Really looked. "You amaze me, Blessing. Not just your mind, but your heart, your strength. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you." Her breath caught. "You don't have to say that." "I'm not saying it because I have to," he murmured. "I'm saying it because I feel it." And then, slowly, gently, he leaned in. Blessing didn't pull away. Their lips met, soft, cautious at first, then deeper, fuller. The kiss was electric, warm, stirring, as if something dormant in her heart had awakened. Her hand moved to his chest instinctively, and he cupped her cheek with surprising tenderness, like she was precious, like she mattered. When they finally pulled apart, their foreheads rested against each other's, both breathless and smiling. Blessing had come for business, but somewhere between the roses and the stars, her heart had begun to fall. That night, Blessing lay beneath the soft, cloud-like comforter in the guest suite of the Hartman mansion, wrapped in stillness. The room was elegant, walls painted in warm ivory, gold sconces casting a gentle glow, and sheer curtains swaying with the breeze coming in from the open garden window. But it wasn't the luxury that held her attention. It was her heartbeat. She lay on her back, her hand resting over her chest, feeling each quiet thump echo through her fingertips. It was fast, nervous, alive. Gabriel's kiss played over and over in her mind like a song she couldn't stop humming. The way he'd looked at her beneath the canopy of stars, the softness of his lips, the warmth of his palm gently cradling her cheek. It hadn't been rushed. It hadn't been lustful. It had been real, intimate. A kind of gentleness she had forgotten existed. Her heart whispered things her mind wasn't ready to say aloud. Could she fall for someone again? Was it even safe to believe in something new after being shattered? And yet, something in her gut told her this was different. She wasn't the same broken woman who had cried herself to sleep in a hotel room. She was Blessing Miller, stronger, smarter, wiser. And tonight, for the first time in so long, she felt worthy of love again. With that thought, a quiet smile tugged at the corners of her mouth. She turned on her side, pulling the comforter up to her chin, her hand still over her heart, calmer now, and let sleep take her, wrapped in the memory of a kiss and the possibility of something beautiful. Subscribe for Part 4. See you next time, and remember, love is free.